Hi everyone, in this video we will discuss the most mysterious character from the Skibidi Toilet series, the legendary plunger cameraman. Who he is, when did he first appear, what is his role, and why the plunger will be the ultimate tool in the fight against the toilets. Watch the video until the end to not miss the most interesting things. Plunger Cameraman was first shown to us as an active character in episode 48, but this is not his first appearance. Just like with the TV Mans, the creator prepared us for the new character in advance. We saw him in episodes 43 and 45, but this is far from his first appearance. Let's deal with it, and you'll be very surprised how long this character has been on the show. First, let's talk about what we know about him. He is a very brave fighter, ready to sacrifice himself. He fights with 2 plungers, and by the way, he's not the only one who uses them. I'll show you later when the cameramen first used the plungers and why they're so powerful. He has a black coat, gray pants, black shirt, and a red tie. He also has a black camera, while most cameramen have a white one. Let's explore what the difference is. We first see the black camera in episode 3. It's placed on trailers. Maybe they are not even weapons, but just monitoring vehicles, like journalists. This episode is the first time the cameramen appear. In episode 8, we see a whole army of cameramen, some of whom have black cameras. Also, as we see, they are all wearing different shirts, so the clothes don't really affect anything here. In episode 9, just such an agent dances and lures a squad of police toilets behind him. In episode 10, he's also the one who flushes the Skibidi priest. I doubt this guy is the plunger cameraman, but at the same time, he's following more serious orders than most of the other agents. I'm going to assume that the black camera is just an upgrade and that agents are more trained than normal. In episode 14, we see a squad of cameramen, but they all have white shirts. And as we remember, the plunger cameraman has a black shirt, so he hasn't shown up here yet. Also, the entire squad was destroyed by the huge metal toilet. Similarly, in episode 24, we see that there are also speakermen with a black speaker. They're also few in number. But in episode 32, when we see a squad of speakermen in front of us, they're all with normal gray speakers. Perhaps in the future, we will see another brave warrior, but already from the race of speakermen. But back to the plunger cameraman. For the first time, we see his appearance only in episode 26. Perhaps then it was accidental, and Dafouk did not think that he would become a legend. First of all, he has a black camera, and doesn't have a white shirt, like the big cameraman here. Secondly, he is still bravely running to attack the Skibidi toilets like in episode 50. By the way, the operator was never a plunger cameraman, although in some episodes he was a scientist cameraman and even a little spy car in episode 27. The nearby car here also has a black camera, as well as the anti-parasite cannon has the same ones on the sides. Further into the series, we see different cameramen with a black camera, but they are all dressed differently. In the analysis of episode 49, I assumed that the dead cameraman is a plunger cameraman, but that is not the case. We already know from episode 50 that he's alive, but I didn't pay attention to one detail at the time. Plunger cameraman has gray pants, while the destroyed one from episode 49 has black ones. Now let's look at why the plunger actually works against the Skibidi toilets. As we remember, the most obvious way to deal with Skibidi is to flush them. But that doesn't work for everyone. And yes, the toilets started protecting their flush button. And in the new episodes, we don't see the toilets have cisterns at all. There's some kind of device in its place. Now remember how in episode 41 we saw the Skibidi bathtub. When the Titan TV man showed up, all the toilets flushed themselves. But how did the bathtub do it if it doesn't have a flush cistern? We conclude that the Skibidi can flush themselves anyway, and it destroys them. Now look at this shot. How in episode 31, Big Cameraman steps on Skibidi, and he flushes himself without a cistern. It seems that this is a way to fight against the toilet Skibidi without flushing. This is most likely why the plunger was used by the cameramen, including the legendary plunger cameraman. The first time we saw the plunger was in episode 39, but here it was used in a little different way. The cameraman simply covered Skibidi toilet's face with it so he couldn't get his bearings, then flushed him. Some have assumed that the operator is the plunger cameraman in this episode, but that's not true. Note the color of the shirt. It's a regular cameraman who used a new way to fight the toilets. In episode 40, we see 2 plungers lying on the ground, one of which we pick up. Here we are also not on behalf of the plunger cameraman because, again, we have a white shirt. We also see that the average cameraman tried to use a plunger but failed. We never saw how the plunger cameraman uses this plunger, but in episode 48 we can see that 2 toilets are neutralized with plungers sticking out of them. Meanwhile, in episode 39, the plunger is flushed with Skibidi. It's unclear to me how that's possible, but the existence of the Skibidi toilets their own isn't very scientific either. So let's leave that point out. We'll just conclude that the plunger cameraman uses the tool in some other way. In episode 43, he sits with the others, but as soon as the TV men teleport away, our hero grabs the plunger and prepares to fight against the Skibidi toilets. In episode 45, he's just watching the Titan from around the corner. Why he's there, I don't know yet. But in episode 48, we see how easily he takes down 5 gray toilets. And in episode 50, he goes to fight an army of huge monsters alone. This guy is desperate, but very brave. I'd really like to see him in battle against the toilets and the other Skibidi monsters, and I think we'll be getting a reveal of this character soon. Somehow I'm sure he'll be the subject of the new season of Skibidi Toilets. Every time a creator prepares us for a new character, they do it in advance, and then that character surprises the viewer. That's what happened with the TV men, that's what happened with Cameraman Titan, and that's what's going to happen with the Plunger Cameraman. I don't think his story is going to end quickly. I think it's just beginning. I'm guessing we'll see the invention of huge plungers that will work great against big Skibidi toilets. Maybe even after TV Man Titan is restored, he'll be upgraded with the plungers. I admire how Dafouk added the plunger cameraman to his series, and I'm really excited for this character to be revealed. As we remember, the main G toilet cannot be flushed. Likewise, he also doesn't hurry to flush himself just because he sees the Titan Cinema Man screen. He's a very powerful toilet, and he needs a special way. I'm sure that way would be a giant plunger. But who's going to use it? Titan Cinema Man? Maybe after Titan Speaker Man is freed from the Skibidi parasite's influence, he'll equip a giant plunger? But the most epic option is if the small but very brave legendary plunger cameraman fights against G Toilet. If after the G Toilets battle against the 3 Titans, Skibidi wins, and plunger cameraman successfully defeats G Toilet alone, it will be really legendary. All in all, I really like this character, and I think you guys too. I would love to see your theories and assumptions about the legendary plunger cameraman. Write it in the comments. Now it's time to see a few of your theories in the comments. First, one of my theories is that Titan Cameraman hasn't been fully upgraded yet. And after hearing about that their base is being under attack, he was sent out to help. And when the fight was over, he went back to where he came from to get fully upgraded. I agree. If Titan's improvements aren't finished, we'll see more cool equipment. Also, we haven't seen him shoot from his finger like in episode 23. We might even see a plunger as one of Titan's secret weapons. Moving on. And because he took so long to be upgraded, is because there were always new improvements to the Skibidi toilets. So they have to keep coming up with stuff that can make the Titan immune to it because the Skibidi scientist makes some new upgrades to the toilets. Yeah, the Skibidi scientist is crazy. We see his inventions in every episode. But if you constantly improve the Titan against every new toilet, he'll spend all his time in the lab, and he needs to fight. Moreover, the main target is G Toilet, and I think Titan is already strong enough to defeat Skibidi's leader. Another theory. The TV men did not appear because they are not useful in hand-to-hand battles. Since, as we can see throughout the series, they have never fought hand-to-hand this because their skill and efficiency is more concentrated in attacks by means of the light of the TV. Yeah, that's a good theory. A lot of you are unhappy that I think TV men are traitors. But I'm just trying to understand what Dafouk is implying and predict what will happen next. I think the TV men are very suspicious, but I hope they really help the cameramen and don't betray